Hi, my name's Nina. I'm just a Swiftie with an English degree, and today I'm coming to you to talk about some of our Taylor Swift most unpopular opinions. A lot of you guys left me some absolutely crazy unpopular opinions that we are going to go through. I wanted to thank you for coming and being at this channel. You actually may know me from my most recent video, which was probably my most unpopular opinion, where I shared that I heavily theorize that the Alchemy is about Matty Healy and not about Travis. I know that upset many people, but a lot of the comments that you guys left actually made me believe in my theory even more, because we have this video now from like the second stop on the Eras tour ever where Taylor is actually mentioning the Alchemy. Like, what?
What's the alchemy that makes up a crowd like this?
So thank you guys for that. I appreciate it. Now I even stand more firm in my most unpopular opinion that the Alchemy, at minimum, started out as a Matty Healy song. Is it possible that Taylor may have added some stuff to make it more about Travis? It's possible with the timeline, but I don't think it's very probable. So I stand by that. I will take that to my grave. I will die on this hill.
Because I'm me, I'm going to see this clip and automatically think, was this around the time period that she was writing the Alchemy? It would make sense, as I believe that that was the time period that she was feeling very optimistic about what could be her future relationship with Matty, but it's very interesting. Thank you guys for pointing it out to me. I wish I would have had it for my original video now.
Quite a few of you actually shared that unpopular opinion with me when I asked for unpopular opinions, so thank you so much for agreeing with me before I even posted that video. I love it when you guys just know. When you guys see the vision, I absolutely love it, so thank you so incredibly much. The next unpopular opinion that I want to dive into is regarding Midnights. This person said, Taylor didn't lie about the concepts of Midnights. People just didn't listen. And I absolutely agree. When Taylor presented to us the idea of Midnight, she presented it as 13 sleepless nights from throughout her life. She didn't tell us that it was going to encompass her or the decade previous to her life at that point. We kind of assumed that. So I understand why people got upset, because they were like looking deep for it to be about like specific like past events. And there are some, you know, like would've, could've, should've, I would say is a perfect example of something that is most likely from a story from a younger Taylor's life. But from me deep diving Midnights currently, I really see Midnights now as an album where she is thinking about all of the things that have gone wrong in her past relationships, examining what she could have done differently, and really like digging deep into like her history. But I think a lot of what we see on Midnights is her going over her choices in her head, right? She is thinking about what to do, whether she should break up, break free, breathe through, break out, you know, or whatever it is. That is what she is thinking at the time. That is how I have taken Midnights now, as I have been deep diving into lyrics and things. I really see it as this album where she is really thinking, what am I going to do? What have I done in the past? What step am I going to make? What is my next decision? What will make me happy? That is what I see as Midnights now. Next unpopular opinion that was left for me, the Tortured Poets Department should have been Album of the Year. And while I personally agree, I think that the Tortured Poets Department is my Album of the Year. I think it might be the album of my life. It just unlocked so many things for me in terms of like just examining lyrics and things, but I understand why it wasn't Album of the Year at the Grammys. I understand why the majority of mainstream listeners of just general music and not like hardcore Swifties, I understand why they wouldn't get the Tortured Poets Department so much. I think the Tortured Poets Department is really kind of an album for the people who get it, as much as that sounds strange, but it's not really a album like 1989 that's going to have a lot of mainstream hits, or even Red that's going to have a lot of mainstream hits. It's the Tortured Poets Department. It's its own thing, and I think that it had to exist, and it had to get her through this very painful time of her life, but that means that it doesn't have the same like pop ballads that you would see in other albums. So I get why it didn't win. And also she won with Midnights, which I know people have their own thoughts about that, but I understand it. I have my own feelings about the Tortured Poets Department and why it's the best, but I get it. I understand. Now, you would be shocked at the number of people who've said some iteration of this. And just say heads up, I am doing a general overview of the questions and the unpopular opinions that were given to me. A lot of them were like very thought out, like long paragraphs, which I love. I'm a wordy person as well, but I have made them more concise just for easy talking about them in the video. But just so you know, I read all of your long comments and I love them all. I will probably after this video go back and actually like respond to people, but I didn't want to tell people how I felt before this video came out because that kind of defeats the purpose. But the next one, which I got a lot of, by the way, a lot of people feel this way, okay? We were shocked, but All Too Well, and mainly the 10-minute version, is overrated. Ma'am, ma'am, did you live in 2012? Were you around with us when All Too Well happened and she told us that it originally started off as a 10-minute version and then we lost our minds and we begged for it for years? Because I remember I was there and when she gifted us the gift that was All Too Well 10-minute version, which we had been begging for years because we knew that it existed, because she never should have told us. She should never tell us things exist because we will not shut up. I think that maybe I understand. Okay, maybe if you came in to All Too Well 10 and it was like the first iteration that you'd ever heard and you weren't like around during 2012 when Red was a thing and you like didn't grow with that, like maybe I get it, but like I can't accept that. I can't agree. No, All Too Well 10, the SNL live performance of All Too Well 10-minute version is like perfection. It's like a hill that I will never climb off of. I will live there forever. A part of me will always be watching the SNL All Too Well 10-minute version and being happy, okay? Like, it's just, it was so essential. Also, right after quarantine, like, it was so important that no, I just can't agree. All Too Well 10 is important. It needs to exist. That is just the way. That is the way. I cannot accept that in any way, shape, or form. I am sorry. Okay, next one. Me, exclamation mark, because that's important, does not deserve the hate. And guys, I can agree with this, okay? I actually, when Lover came out, I don't know if you guys know this about me, but I'm not like really like into Twitter. I'm not really into that or like TikTok or anything. So a lot of like the discussions online I kind of miss out on and I like catch up on it afterwards, like actually people's opinions. I keep up with Taylor herself, but you know what I mean. But like I was actually kind of surprised to see all of the hate for me when it originally came out. Like I genuinely enjoyed Lover. Like, was it as amazing to me as Red? No. Was it going to be as amazing to me as Folklore and Evermore would be in the future? Absolutely not. But I enjoyed Lover at the time. I thought that it was good. I didn't know that the me hate really existed until I stumbled onto like a random video like a month later and found out that she had like changed stuff and was like, what? I was kind of disconnected from that. So I actually kind of agree. I think me is kind of cute. My mother absolutely adores me. She sings it all the time. She's just me hee hee. Which I know that people hate it, but it's catchy. I don't necessarily hate it. Do I seek out listening to it? No. Is it in my top 200 favorite Taylor Swift songs? No. But, you know, it exists and it's fine. I'm fine with it existing. It's whatever. I was so shocked when I read this unpopular opinion because this unpopular opinion like would wipe out so many Easter egg lore hunters like from the past like 5 years. But this next comment was, "Look What You Made Me Do is extremely overrated and the repetition is annoying." First of all, couldn't be me. I love Look What You Made Me Do. I loved it when she went crazy on rep and did so many different sounds than she had ever done before. I absolutely love Are You Ready For It? Look What You Made Me Do. All of that. Can't be me. I did something bad. I am a rep girl. I love that. But I just don't, like, if you got rid of Look What You Made Me Do, we would not have the plane. We would not have all of the Taylors. We would not have her cutting off the arm of the plane and people thinking that karma was a thing. There would be so much lore that just straight up wouldn't exist. We wouldn't have Taylor Mountain. We wouldn't have her sitting in the chair with the snake and have the diamonds in the tub. Like, we wouldn't have any of that. So no, Look What You Made Me Do is essential. We can't get rid of it. No. Just no. No, it's way too important. It has to stay. I don't find it annoying. Let me know if you guys disagree. Maybe you guys feel differently, but like, imagine if Look What You Made Me Do didn't exist. Like, seriously, no one would have talked about Karma. None of that would have happened. Like, if that music video didn't exist, what would we have done? What would we have done all of 2018? You know, like, what would they have done? No, absolutely not. This next unpopular opinion is, I like Matty Healy much more after the Tortured Poets Department. And girl, if that is not the truth for me too, I don't know what it is, okay? When me and my husband went to the Eras Tour on April 30th, I have my poster on my wall over there, on April 30th of 2023, when she had Matty Healy come to the next weekend show in Nashville, like, I did not see that coming in any way, shape, or form, and I had only heard very negative things about Matty Healy at that point in time. So I was like, what is our messy girl doing? Like, what is she doing? And I've been around for a while. I was just like, what is happening? Like, this is like the messiest she's been in so long, which is still true to this day. But yeah, after Tortured Poets Department, when she's lyrically saying that she swirled him into all of her poems, and we have all of these like things that we can connect with folklore and Evermore, and like, oh my gosh, like, yes, like, and it's not even that I like Matty Healy, okay? It's not even that I like him. I'm just fascinated with the relationship that she had with him. I don't necessarily think that like he is the one or like anything like that. I don't want them to get back together. I want Taylor to do whatever she wants to do with her own life. That is how it should be. But yeah, like, I am fascinated at the relationship between Taylor and Matty. I'm fascinated by it, especially us now thinking that there could have been like allusions or like mentions of him in earlier albums. I just think that it's interesting. It's a fascinating story. I am interested in it. That doesn't mean I want her to go and be in a relationship with him again. You know, I just want her to be able to do whatever she wants. But yes, I am interested. I am seated to hear more. This next unpopular opinion, this person said that I am turning them into a Matty truther. I'm beginning to think Lover and Reputation could have references to him as well. And I found this comment really interesting because they said that I'm turning them into a Matty truther, but I don't even think that I'm a Matty truther. I mean, what does a Matty truther mean? Like, does a Matty truther mean that like you think that like she's been writing about him since like Fearless? Because I'm not that person. Like, I'm not that person. I believe that the absolute earliest we can potentially look is 1989 with Slut, specifically because there was that leaked shipment where potentially Matty Healy had written part of the lyrics for Slut, and there was like that insert for the Tangerine Target edition. We'll talk about that song at some point, and we'll go into like the whole history with that, because like that I think is possible. I don't know. I didn't receive that edition. My insert was normal on my Tangerine Target edition, so I can't say if that's even real. You know what I mean? But like, I've seen a lot of discourse, especially like recently, about people saying that like songs in Red are about Matty, or like songs from Fearless are about Matty. I've even heard like people say that like Love Story is about Matty, and like, no, I think we need to calm down a little bit on that. Personally, it's just my opinion. You know, you guys can dig into whatever you want to. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, of course, but like me personally, we have a lot of history from that time period. She was very active on social media at that time period. And while there is like some evidence that Taylor had invited the 1975 to tour with her with Red, like, we don't have any instances of them actually like physically being together at all. I know that she met his mom in 2008 or 2009. Like, I know about that whole thing. And it's definitely possible they had online communication earlier, but like, I am not a person who is wanting to like rewrite the timelines of past albums. I don't want to do that. I don't think that we should do that. I think that like we can clown and think about the Rep Vault for sure. I am doing that. I do not know if there will be anything remotely portraying to it, but I will actively look. But I just don't think that we should be like forgetting about like the information that we have from years past, because she did genuinely have other relationships that were genuinely very important to her, and we know about that. She hasn't actually, like, in my opinion, been writing about Matty Healy like since the beginning of her journey, and I don't think we should be saying that. I can get behind you on looking into Folklore, Evermore, potentially even maybe Lover, although like with I've also been deep diving timelines with her and Joe, and I think that, I mean, she was really trying to make it work with Joe during that time, so I don't know. I guess I don't really know what being a Matty truther entails, to be honest. If being a Matty truther is just believing that he had a significant part of her writing journey in a lot of albums that we did not originally see, then yes, I'm a Matty truther, if that's what that means. But I think that there is a stopping point. I don't think that we should be looking at anything before Rep and really before Lover, to be honest. There's some things on Rep, but I don't know. We just don't have enough information to say it for sure. So that is where I'm at right now. Like, I am just a lyrical tea leaf reader, of course, and ultimately it doesn't even matter like who the songs are about, you know. It's just very interesting to me. I'm very intrigued by the relationship with her and Matty Healy for sure, 100%, but I guess I don't really know what being a Matty truther is, but I definitely 100% believe that Matty Healy did inspire a lot of wondering, a lot of thinking, and that we have inklings of it throughout Folklore, Evermore, and Tortured Poets Department, for sure. That is where I'm at. And Midnights, for sure. Oh my goodness, there's so much on Midnights. Like, I'm deep diving Midnights right now, and like, I just have so many feelings. I have so many feelings about Midnights, but we will talk about that soon. But that's where I'm at. Like, I don't know. What is a Matty truther? You guys tell me down below. Maybe I'm misunderstanding, but like, what does that mean? Tell me. Educate me. Let me know, do you guys consider yourself to be Matty truthers? I would assume if you're watching my channel, and if you made it through the Alchemy video, last video, where I told you guys my unpopular opinion with the Alchemy, that you likely are. But yeah, just let me know in the comments what you guys think. It's unpopular opinion. Taylor is a phenomenal writer, and she does leave Easter eggs, but sometimes a word is just a word. And girl, I agree, and I know that I'm guilty of this too, okay? I know that sometimes I get excited, and I don't adequately tell you guys that, like, this is interesting, right? Like, and I may seem like I'm saying, like, this is for sure related, and I don't want to do that, because I do think that this is true. Sometimes a word is just a word. But while a word can just be a word, I think also, though, there are times when she is definitely using phrases that she has used before, right? Like Scarlet, Maroon, for both Maroon and Chloe or Sam or Sophia or Marcus. I do think that moments like that are intentional and that they do matter. So there is a caveat with it. So while yes, sometimes a word is just a word, and we need to remember that she is living in her own headspace where all of these metaphors just inherently exist. So a lot of the similarities could just be her living in her own head and using similar metaphor that she's used before. So all of this is good to keep in mind. And this is one of my unpopular opinions, okay? Because I have seen so much of this recently where people are taking things that, like, Jason, perfect example of this. Just recently, Jason did an interview with, I'm not really sure what the podcast was, but essentially they asked him, like, how Travis has changed since he's been in a relationship with Taylor, and Jason says that Travis was like Peter Pan and was like a little lost boy before he was in the relationship with Taylor, and essentially alluded to the fact that she has helped him grow up a lot. A lot of people, like, you would be shocked, but a lot of people I've seen on Facebook recently, like in Facebook groups, people talk about how now Peter is about Travis because Jason said this, and it's like, no ma'am. We don't just see that Jason mentioned the word Peter and say that Peter, Taylor Swift's song, is now about Travis. That's not how this works. Just because people mention words does not mean that it is in any way, shape, or form related to Taylor. I've seen this so much recently that it's actually, like, kind of crazy. Like, I am kind of surprised, like, by how much that I'm seeing it. I guarantee you, well, he may know now, but, like, Jason probably has no idea that Taylor even has a song related to Peter. He probably definitely doesn't have any idea that she references Peter and Wendy and Cardigan, and that there's the teenage love triangle with that whole deal, and that Peter comes back. Like, no. And it's definitely, Peter is definitely not about Travis Kelce. That is literally a song about how she was lied to, and she thought that she was going to have this great love that was fatalistic for her, and he never grew up, and it never happened, is essentially what it's about. And it's like, she's with Travis, like, right now, like, what are you talking about? You know what I mean? Like, no. And I've also seen this where, like, people will take posts from completely unrelated sources that have nothing to do with Taylor at all. I saw one for Rolling Stone recently, where a person took a picture of Rolling Stone posting a person in a dress that's similar to like the Tortured Poets Department dress that she wears on the Eras Tour set list. And they were like, oh my God, what does this mean? Is this an Easter egg for Rep or for another Tortured Poets Department thing? And it's like, no. Like, no. Rolling Stone is just trying to intrigue people by posting something similar to Taylor. They're not, this isn't an Easter egg. They're not working together. I saw this also with, I think it was Tom Brady, who said something at the Super Bowl, right? He said that it was a death by 1,000 cuts with the Chiefs or whatever, and people were like, oh, death by 1,000 cuts, Taylor. And it's like, no. Death by 1,000 cuts has existed as a saying way before Taylor used it. Taylor used it because it is a popular saying. So I just think that, like, we need to slow down. We need to slow down, and we need to remember that these words exist and have existed for a long time. J.M. Barrie wrote Peter Pan literally in like 1904. Like, Peter Pan existed for a long time. It's just a common phrase. The Lost Boys, it's just a common phrase. Death by 1,000 cuts, it's just a common phrase. Like, that is just something that exists separate from Taylor. And I think sometimes we forget. Unpopular opinion. I don't like Taylor and Travis as a couple, and I don't think So High School is a romantic song. And I've told you guys before, I don't really want to comment on Taylor's like relationships too much. I've seen people, you know, refer to, like, I think the Travis Taylor fans are like Tavis's, and then like Matty Taylor fans are Mailers or whatever. I consider myself to be a Taylor, meaning I want whatever Taylor wants. Whatever Taylor wants for her own life is what I want for her. If she is really loving being with Travis Kelce, that is great. She can continue to love and be with Travis Kelce, and that's fine. If she wants to start another relationship with someone else, that's fine. I will sit here and I will clap and I will hand heart and I will be here for the next album when we find out what happened. But, like, I don't want to tell a girl what to do. You know what I mean? I don't want other people to tell me what to do with my relationship. So I don't want to do that to her. I personally think that she is having fun dating the boy on the football team. And I think she has every right to do that. And I think we see that in So High School, where she is referencing everything to being like high school. Because yes, you will do things greater than dating the boy on the football team, but it's pretty cool to also date the boy on the football team if you want to. And I think that that's kind of what we're seeing. She didn't really have a normal high school experience, remember? Like, she was in public school until like sophomore year, and then she went to that private school for like junior senior year, but she was also on tour. So, like, I think like So High School is kind of just referencing the fact that, like, she's dating a football player, she's just having fun. Like, this is So High School, just hanging out with a guy while he plays video games. That's probably is something that's kind of different for her. And I think that's kind of what we see with So High School. Do I personally think that So High School is like super romantic? Not really. It's a sweet song, it's fine, but it's not like something that like makes me weep. You know what I mean? So that's kind of just where I'm at. You know, it's not my favorite. I do tend to skip So High School, but that's just like my own personal thing. You know, it's just like, it's normally not the one that I'm vibing to, and that's perfectly fine. But let me know what you guys think. Do you love Taylor and Travis? It's perfectly fine if you do. I like them together. I think she genuinely seems pretty happy right now, and as long as she genuinely seems pretty happy, I'm good. I want her to do whatever is best for her and her life, and that is kind of where I stand on it. Next unpopular opinion, Lover is one of her best albums, and she picks some of the worst songs as singles. So, Lover being one of her best albums, I will tell you right now, Lover is my mother's absolute favorite Taylor Swift album. She loves it. She will listen to Lover all the time. She sings Me, she sings Lover. She's like, she is into like the happy The aesthetic of Lover is like really something that she's into. I like Lover. I think it's fine. I think commercially it was very successful for her. I think it's a fine album. I listen to it fairly often. I would say it's probably like, I don't know, at least bottom 4 of Taylor's albums for me, but like I like it fine. You know, I don't think that I have a problem with Lover. I definitely don't think that it deserves the hate that I see a lot of people give it on like YouTube. I think Lover is a fine album. Cruel Summer is fantastic. Miss Americana, fantastic. Like Death by a Thousand Cuts, fantastic. There are so many important songs to me that are on Lover that I can't discount it. You know, is it my favorite overall album? Nah, but I love Lover and I wouldn't give it up. As far as Taylor picking some of the worst songs for singles, absolutely. Yes. Yes. And she has done that forever. She has done that since I can remember. That my favorite songs were never the ones that were singles, and that's how it's always been. It's like the favorite songs that become fan favorites are the ones that we love on the album, but hardly ever are they actually singles, and I think that's interesting. I don't know how she determines, you know, what is going to be a single. I don't know if she thinks of like what is her favorite or what commercially will be best. I don't know, but I do find it interesting. I personally, for the Tortured Poets department, would have at bare minimum released Down Bad and Fresh Out the Slammer and My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys. I mean, all of those would make great singles, wouldn't they? Wouldn't they? What songs do you think should have been singles that weren't? Let me know down below. Next unpopular opinion. I think Taylor really fumbled the bag with Joe. And I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea what happened with Taylor and Joe, but I will tell you that I have been really deep diving into a lot of timelines now, and I do think that she genuinely did care about and love Joe, and I think that a lot of the conversation recently that I have seen surrounding all of that kind of discounts her relationship with Joe, and I know that people are excited about the whole thing with her and Travis, and they're excited about, the potential of information with Matty, so like Joe kind of gets like in the mix of that, like he just kind of gets left out because Joe didn't give us very much insight onto like their life because they were very private, and that is their right. They have every right to be like that, and Joe has every right to feel that. But I think sometimes he gets caught in the shuffle and people like forget that he was a very, very important person to her for a very, very long time. And if you look at the timeline of them, like while they were actively together, like he would go film in Belfast and Ireland, and she would go with him, and she would bring the cats, and like we have all of this evidence of like she was actively like traveling and being with him. So I think she genuinely did really try with Joe. I think that their relationship is exemplified, and it is exemplified in How Did It End, where she says, he was a hothouse flower to my outdoorsman. We learned the right steps to different dances. Like, I don't think that she is mad at Joe or that things really necessarily ended bad with Joe. I think that she felt insecure with Joe. I think that they grew apart. Learned the right steps to different dances. They fell victim to interlopers' glances, whatever that means. They just ultimately weren't right, but they were moving in the right direction for themselves, because she says they learned the right steps, but just to different dances. And I think that is kind of all we really need to know about the relationship with Joe. I think it just kind of fizzled out, but I think he was a very important person, one of her absolute best friends for a very long time. And I don't want to forget about Joe when we talk about muses and things, because I think he was very important for sure. Next unpopular opinion, I don't like Reputation. It's too I'm in love with Joe when it could have been more they're burning all the witches even if you aren't one. And to be honest, I absolutely love Reputation in the existence that it gives us now, like how it exists currently, but I am really hoping that we get some rep vault tracks that have more of the like witchy, we're burning the witches even if you aren't one energy, because I want more angry Taylor, and I would also love that. So yes, I partially agree. I would love more of songs like that, and I hope she gives it to us. Unpopular opinion, I think there will be Matty Reputation vault tracks. I think it's possible. I am very interested to see. I am kind of crossing my fingers, but we will see. I am very interested to look and very excited to find out, because I am kind of hopeful that there are some songs that maybe she wrote in, end of 2014, beginning of 2015 that have never seen the light of day, and I would love, love, love to see those. So yes, let me know what you guys think of this video. If you like Taylor Swift content, lyrical deep dives, lore talks, that kind of thing, don't forget to like and subscribe. My next lyric video will be coming very, very soon, and I hope that you will be with me to watch it, and I hope that you will join me. Let me know if you guys have any other unpopular opinions down below. I would love to do more of these in the future, so always throw them at me and send them my way. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Let me know if there's any specific songs that you want me to deep dive next, and I will see you guys next week. Bye!